have you seen out of the guys, especially the veterans, as far as just kind of taking on that leadership role, and how are they handling that?
Well, I tell you, we're fortunate now to have a room full of veterans, and I would say the leadership right now is kind of like by committee. Man, these guys doing a great job of coaching each other up. The biggest piece of that is that the guys doing a good job of listening to each other, and and you know as well as I know that when you have a football team that's player driven, when you have players that's coaching, players that's leading, and the coach's voice is not the one they're always hearing, and you got an opportunity now to be successful. So we got some really good guys in that room with just good strong leadership ability, and they're doing a good job. One doing a good job in the classroom and studying it and carrying it up to the field. But I think the biggest caveat is that the guys that's being coached and being led by the veterans, they're doing a good job of listening. And that's when you usually have a problem when the guys are trying to lead and trying to coach, and then the coach got to intervene because the guys are not listening. And so obviously they're doing the right things away from the building because the young guys are listening to them, and it's good to have.
With the younger guys listening, we've been seeing them shadowing some of the older, more experienced players. How has that worked for you guys in terms of getting those freshmen and younger guys ingrained into the system, or ingrained just into college in general?
Well, that's the biggest thing with a young guy. Just man, that transition. Everything for them now is faster. The game is faster, and we have to remember as a freshman, their whole life has been turned upside down. Sleeping in a different bed, eating at a different restaurant, away from home. And the biggest thing about that is those freshmen being embraced by a veteran guy. But it's really been good. We had guys, the younger guys that looking out the window and different body language with a big look in their eyes. And I think the biggest thing is that they see the older guys like a Simpson, like a Keontae, and they saying, okay, I want to be that guy. But those guys are doing a good job of being big brother to them. And so that's making the freshman transition a lot easier. And Kay and Lee, he came in January, so that's really helped him. Guys that want to have an opportunity to play, they come in early. Now he's really not a true freshman right now because he's been there, done that, and seen it and heard it. And the biggest challenge for those guys is, just digesting the playbook. Because in high school ball, man, go cover that guy. You go cover that guy. But now they got to play in a holistic scheme, and that's a little different for those guys. And as coaches, we have to remember that. We have to remember that and do a good job of spending some one-on-one time with some of these players because they learn different. Some learn in a big session, some learn one-on-one, and some going to learn on the grass. So as coaches, we got to continue to study them and figure out, okay, how does T. Scott learn? How does T. Love learn? How does Ken Lee learn? And Terrence Love going to learn differently. So we have to keep that in mind as coaches.
How many of those guys will come in after the spring? Just who's really stuck out to you so far?
Well, we have guys that's really doing a good job, and I want to just single out one guy. But one guy that's really surprised us in terms of how far he is, and we have to remember that he's really not a true freshman, is Chancellor Anthony. I mean, he's doing a good job, and you go like, whoa, and he's kind of far ahead of the other freshmen. Then you have to realize that, okay, yeah, he's really not a true freshman. He's been at JC for a year, but he's probably been the biggest surprise of the young guys so far. And then I'll tell you the job, JC Hart, you got to remember now his cup is empty. He hadn't lived that DB life a lot, but with that size and speed, man, he's catching on. And when he catch on, I promise you, he's going to be a household name. You don't have many Americans with that size that can run like that. So the biggest thing that I'm having to coach with that young man, just confidence. The more confident he get, the more his skill set and talent gonna show up.